Welcome to the Athlete Insights Podcast, hosted by Josh Day, a podcast focused on letting athletes tell their journeys in their sport.
Welcome into another episode of the Athlete Insights Podcast. Today I've got my guest, Josh Shelton, with me. Josh is a communications manager with the Tennessee Golf Association. Josh and I go way back to our Ball State days back in 2019. Feels like ages ago, but like you said earlier, kind of feels like yesterday too. So
Right, a little bit of both.
but appreciate you coming on. And with all my guests, like I said, I like to take it back to the top. So can you talk about the first time you really got introduced to sport and kind of what your experiences were with it at a young age?
Yeah, I would say my dad's a golf professional, and I like to make the distinction. He's a golf professional, not a professional golfer. You've
Yeah,
not seen my dad play golf on TV.
yeah,
But what he would do when we were younger, for both me and my brothers, the joke in our family is that we could both putt
yeah.
before we knew how to walk on our own.
Mm,
There's pictures of my dad propping us up on the putting green, holding us up while we're got our little plastic club, hitting it back and forth. So
gotcha.
I could putt before I could walk.
There you
So
go.
it's kind of made sense. It's been a long road to get to working in golf,
Yeah,
but that's where we are now. But that's probably my first introduction. And then from a young age, I was playing every sport you could think of,
yeah,
just depended on the weather of the season, whether it was soccer, basketball, baseball, kickball,
yeah.
flag football, regular football,
There you go.
then did lacrosse and golf. So
Yeah,
just about everything that had didn't even need to have a ball. If there's something like darts or something, I'm doing that.
there you go.
So sports
Ran in the
revolve
family
in
for
my life.
sure.
It's always happening.
Yeah, yeah. And you talk about a variety of different sports that you participated in. Is there one kind of core memory from your youth sport days that stands out for you?
Um, Man, it's hard to pick, but I would say one of the ones I'll keep it golf related since
Yeah,
that's the business I'm in now.
yeah.
But one of the ones, and maybe it's not, particularly a competitive moment, but when golf started to click for me, it was always it's a sport that, and just like every other sport, it's a constant struggle, constant striving to improve.
Hmm.
But golf is always the one that seems like, even at the highest level, you have bad shots. There's rarely a perfect game going on
Yeah.
in golf. But one of the moments in high school that I had is uh, being able to not get as frustrated.
Hmm.
And another reason that golf can be such a like excruciating sport to play is
Yeah.
that it seems like in just about every other sport, if you get angry, you can like, psych yourself up and go like you're going to run faster, you're going to
Yeah.
hit harder,
Yeah.
you're going to throw faster. In golf, if you try to do that, all of a sudden everything just gets worse and then it snowballs.
Falls
Uh,
apart.
and I remember it was my junior and senior year,
Uh-huh.
somewhere in that range of high school, where it that finally clicked and I could kind of take a step back a little bit
Uh-huh.
and my golf game improved because, hey,
Gotcha.
it turns out if you try to stay calm and flush some things,
There you go.
you can play a little better, you can refocus a little quicker. Um, Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect in that sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I played on Sunday and I think I had three, really nice club drops up there.
There you go.
Um, but being able to let that you're allowed to be emotional. You are human, but
Yeah,
you have to like let it out and then you're back. You have to get right, find your level
for
really
sure.
quick.
For sure.
Especially in golf.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you mentioned you talked about your high school experience or playing golf in high school. Can you expand on that a little bit about your high school experience playing sport or being involved with sport?
Yeah, when I was playing in high school, I was one of two freshmen that made the varsity team growing up.
Mm,
And
gotcha.
and you know, growing up in golf, everybody's always at a different spot.
Yep.
but I think you'd even could say the same thing when you get into just about any sport in high school. It's like the difference between a freshman and a senior,
Yeah,
just like physically,
yeah,
is maybe on the boys' side mentally not as much, but physically definitely. We're all teenage boys, so we're all pretty dumb.
yeah,
Um, but as far as like that was something that I had to really I was not a big kid in high
yeah,
school. Still not a
yeah,
big kid.
yeah,
But coming into high school at like maybe 5 foot and going up against a senior that maybe is committed to, D1 golf somewhere.
yeah,
Uh, and then, you know, every time you hit a drive, they could build a Walmart between your
yeah.
ball and then the senior that you're playing with.
I was the same way, Josh.
Yep, yep. It's like every time you're like, you have to, and that's one of those weird things about golf is that you're kind of not playing that person. You're more so playing the course.
Yeah,
And so you really have to focus, like you have to totally ignore what's going on. I
yeah,
mean, not, you got to keep their score, but you have to kind of like you have to play your game out
yeah,
there. And so that was something that I had to learn very quickly. Youth golf, you're playing a lot of people that are right at your same age.
yeah.
Maybe a couple of times there's some age discrepancies, but most of the time you're pretty close. Uh,
Hmm.
Especially if you're in eighth grade. There wasn't middle school golf in Virginia. Uh,
Oh,
so you're playing people that are close, that are eighth, seventh, maybe sixth grade.
yeah.
So you're all relatively close, but especially when you get to the eighth grade, you're like you're
The
top
top
dog
tier.
there, and now all of a sudden you're right back to the bottom, and you're having to figure some things out
Yeah,
because you've got this person that maybe actually knew what a dumbbell was. I didn't
yeah,
know what that was when I was a freshman in high school, so
yeah.
that was a big thing. But uh, and then I played lacrosse on the other end of it, so
There
two
you go.
stick and ball sports that uh,
Too
were could
different.
two very different. Yeah, you
Yeah.
you can get angry in lacrosse and you
There
can
you
play.
go.
You can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can relate to I mean, I played high school golf as well. I can relate to the building the Walmarts between the balls because I
Yep.
definitely, there were some guys I got intimidated by that were hitting the ball like 260, 270, and I'm hitting it here like 220. And I'm like,
Right.
well, what am I doing wrong? I'm like always behind everybody and they're waiting
Right.
on
I'm
me. Now I
always
gotta,
hitting first after we hit drives. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm sitting there and it was it takes a lot. But you're right. I mean, you're really just playing the course and you're not playing the person. That's the uniqueness of golf in that
Yeah. And I think
way.
you see it out in even at the highest level right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's Most people aren't going out there and thinking that they're going to outdrive Rory McIlroy
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
uh, out Iron Strike, Scotty Scheffler. So
Yeah.
you have to find your edge somewhere else if you want to go out there and win.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, Russell Henley is a great example of it. He does not hit it very far, but
No.
he
He's
is
consistent.
one of the most accurate drivers
Yeah.
in the PGA Tour, and that's why he seems to every year like backdoor top five at the Masters.
Yeah.
Because as people start pressing, he is if you can hitting from the fairway at Augusta makes life a little bit easier, not that much easier, but
Yeah.
definitely easier. And that's the same way in golf, and there's a lot of connections between golf and life.
Yeah.
You may not be the smartest or the strongest or
Uh-huh.
the fastest or whatever, but if you can find your edge somewhere and set
Yeah.
yourself apart, you can set yourself up for success while
For
other
sure.
people aren't able to reach that same kind of level.
For sure. Have you gotten a chance to go down to Augusta?
I have not. I have
Okay.
not. I have.
I've
I
I've
am
put my
a.
name in the lottery
Yeah, I'm
every
gonna say
year.
I'm like a 12-time lottery loser.
Yeah.
So haven't
I've put
quite
my
gotten to
name in
that
the
point
lottery,
yet.
so we'll see. Every year I'm like,
Yeah.
this is my year. And then
This is it. This is my year. Exactly. Exactly.
so
That's that perseverance that golf teaches you.
there you go.
Patience.
So can you talk about, you played high school golf, you played high school sports. Can you talk about the pivot to sport broadcasting? I know we were both in the journalism program and uh, did your high school have like a broadcast program? The reason I asked that is because the way I got into broadcasting is the high school I went to in Cincinnati had like a really strong broadcast journalism program for specifically with sport as well. I did sports radio in high school and stuff like that. So kind of translated well. So what was your kind of pivot to broadcasting and journalism?
Yeah, so I even just finding journalism was kind of happenstance for me. I
Mm.
was dead set on being an Air Force pilot and going to the academy.
Oh, okay.
And so I had a football coach that was in the Air Force and went to the academy.
Yeah.
And so you got to join Boy Scouts. You got to be an Eagle Scout. That gets your name to the top of the application pile. So
Hmm.
I joined scouting a year later than most other kids do.
Yep.
I think most kids join at 11. I was 12
Okay.
and going out there and doing everything. And it was some merit badge jamboree
There you go.
locally, and I had to pick one more thing because the aviation one was filled up. It always fills up first.
Yeah.
um, and so I was like, sure, journalism, that's starts with a J. My name's Josh, I'll do journalism.
Yeah.
um, and did that, and almost right away, some of the assignments we had to do, I was like, ooh, we've got something here. I kind of
Yeah.
like. Um, my eyesight got bad. That makes it hard to fly planes.
Mm, okay.
And so I started looking at journalism programs. Did more written journalism in middle school, and then in high school did the same thing. Did the newspaper my
Mm,
freshman year, and
okay.
then there was a I don't know if I'd call it like a broadcast program, but there was like a video journalism class, and you did a lot more of the
Okay.
traditional storytelling with
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
You're learning like film concepts and that kind of thing too, but
Yep.
composition. But they also ran the TV news, the
Mm.
news announcements that ran for 5 or 10 minutes during homeroom.
Uh,
And I was like, I'm going to get to that.
yeah.
And so my junior and senior year, I did that and kind of like honed my skills a little bit.
Gotcha.
Um, and then I would do like little play-by-play for baseball stuff, whether it be my brother's little league game or
Oh, gotcha.
um, helping out where I can. There was
Uh,
um, a college wood bat league, the Cal
mhm.
Ripken Junior League in the
Okay.
DC, Northern Virginia, Maryland area,
Yeah.
the DMV for those familiar.
Yeah.
And we had a friend of ours that was one of the people that managed the team, and they had someone that was doing it, but I was like his broadcast assistant.
Gotcha.
I'd help come up with stats, I'd do interviews with players, and every couple of like in the kind of the middle 3 innings, he eventually was comfortable enough. He'd give me the headset and I got to do a few innings, and then
Nice. Yeah.
he'd take over.
Yeah.
And so really loved that. And so when I was looking at colleges, that's where I was looking was journalism, and then specifically opportunities to do some broadcast journalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ended up at Ball State despite originally pushing back against it because that's where my dad went, and I was like, I don't
Oh.
want to go to school my dad went to.
Uh,
But did a tour of Ball State's campus and walked by their newsroom, and I met with some of the professors there,
yeah.
and they said all the right things. Every person I had talked to that was in the broadcast journalism business all told me the exact same thing. It was go somewhere where you can immediately get your hands dirty
Yeah.
and like just go do it. That's the best way to learn in
Yeah.
this business is to go do it.
Yeah.
And I toured some, I can leave their names out of it, but I toured some pretty, some big J journalism schools
Yeah.
that prided themselves on their journalism program, and some of the professors and academics there would say, oh, we like our freshmen and even our sophomores to kind of just get a feel for college first before getting involved.
Mm, yeah.
And it was like, wow, that's like the opposite of what everyone has
Else
told
is
me.
telling you.
So
Yeah.
there's some disconnect here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Ball State was they at that time it was called immersive learning. I
Yeah.
don't know what they call it now,
Mm,
but that was their thing is just like come here and go do it. Like
yeah.
we'll give you the
Heat.
tools and the
Yep.
skills, and then if you've got the willingness, like
Go
you
do
can
that.
go make the
Yep.
most.
Yep. No, and and I mean Ball State was fantastic being a part of news. I mean, we were both part of NewsLink Indiana there,
Mhm.
and several other opportunities that Ball State provided us. So it was awesome to have an environment where they just kind of threw you into the fire, essentially, and that you
Exactly.
just kind of learn from that realm. But that is the best way to learn, in my opinion, is just kind of
Yeah.
get thrown into the fire and then figure it out and go from
Yeah.
there. And so.
I still remember Tim Underhill's
Yeah,
his class, and like the first news story that you turned in, I don't think anybody got above like a 60 out of 100.
yeah,
It was like every time he had a he's like, this is your scoring rubric, and he'll sit there and
yeah,
tally everything up. And
yeah.
but I mean, you went out and did it, and you're like, okay, well, I see
Now we see
exactly
why.
where I did what I did wrong,
Yeah,
exactly how many times I did it. I'm not going to do it this time. And then there'd
yeah,
be something else. And then, I mean, by the end of the year, you're putting technically sound stories together,
yeah,
and they're concise, and you've got the skills to go out and be a
for,
successful journalist.
for sure.
I don't mean this to be a Ball State hype piece, but
No, no.
I really did appreciate my time there, and I think they set me up. Even though I'm out of traditional broadcast journalism now, I think a lot of the foundation was
Yeah,
laid there for storytelling in general, and storytelling has moved around for millennium, whether it's on the walls of a cave
yeah,
or Instagram reel. Like
yeah. Shoot, I mean,
the
I use the
basics and the
podcast to
foundations
tell
of
stories. Oh,
storytelling are all the same. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's
So, I mean,
storytelling will always be there.
yeah.
uh, so that's the cool part, is learning,
Well,
sitting in that foundation.
yeah. And the great thing is now that I teach a sport communications course, and I use a lot of the foundations that Tim Underhill and Susie Smith
Yep.
and those people instilled in me and you and everybody else at Ball State. So it's awesome that what we were able to do there, what we were able to accomplish there, and kind of using those tools now as even a communications person at the Tennessee Golf Association to use those
Yeah.
and build off
I've
of it.
got a laundry list of Ball State professors I could thank, but
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. And so can you talk about now, as you said, you've kind of phased out of traditional broadcast media into the more golf content creation space. Can you talk about for viewers or listeners, can you talk about what your day-to-day looks like at the Tennessee Golf Association?
yeah, I'd say I'm not quite the content creator in golf that they may think of. I'm not a YouTube
Okay.
golfer or anything.
Yeah.
But as far as the day-to-day stuff goes, it's a lot of the communications with membership. So
Mm,
if you have a handicap through the USGA, it's
mm,
also through your state golf association or your local golf association.
yeah.
So the communications that you receive as a member of that golf association,
Okay.
those are the ones that I have. We
Hmm.
have about 50,000 members in Tennessee, so
Mm,
I'm
okay.
communicating with them,
Yeah.
uh, working on it's very much the MMJ.
Mm,
I'm also working on partnerships with
yeah.
different golf organizations and organizations outside of golf.
Mm,
Uh,
okay.
but all kind of working under the umbrella of golf in Tennessee. When we get into the summer, we're really championships heavy. We've got
Okay.
22 championships that we run throughout
The summer.
typically the months of May to October.
Okay.
Uh, Out at events, I'm taking videos,
Yeah.
getting pictures,
Awesome.
putting all of those together into social media. So we do a lot of our work on social media.
Yeah.
Um, and we found that a really effective way of communicating what we're doing with
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, and then occasionally I got rules certified, so I'm a
There you
rules
go.
official too sometimes.
There you go.
I love pulling up on what looks like a ruling, and I've got my camera in my hand. They're like, oh, like we're looking for rules official. You're just the camera guy. I'm like, no, I'm actually a rules
No, I'm
official
actually
too.
certain.
Yeah, so I can help you out with this too.
Yeah.
Um,
Multi-talented or
exactly,
multi-skilled.
exactly. The
So
the MMJ of the golf world.
there you go. Yeah.
But that's a lot of it. But it all really stems from storytelling,
Yep.
whether that's communicating with members,
Yep.
whether that's telling the story of the event or one of the golfers or one of the courses or one of our partners.
Yep.
There's a story to be told, and that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to how I go about my day to day is okay, like what story are we telling today? It
Yep.
can be as simple as, we're working on some, I call it Gen Z content,
Okay.
just more fun, short form, taking what's
TikTok. Yeah.
trending audio.
Yeah.
So we're working on some stuff with that. That is you can tell a story very quickly.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, rest in peace, Vine. But I mean, people were
Yep.
doing it in 6 seconds,
Yep.
and
You're
you
like,
can you can tell those little stories that are fun. Nothing needs
yeah.
to be, not everything needs to be an ESPN 30 for 30, pulling on your heartstring
Yeah.
story. There can be lighthearted, fun ones, but
Yeah.
that's really the nucleus of everything. Is it all comes from storytelling,
For sure.
and then I get to use a bunch of different avenues to do that in the state of Tennessee.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're like the Rick Shields of Tennessee. You know who Rick Shields is, don't you? The content
Yeah.
creator on YouTube.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know about that, but we can say that.
You're getting there. You're getting there, Josh.
Right.
But before we end the podcast, I always like to ask guests is, you think about young viewers, young golfers, young people looking to get into journalism or content or communications like you have. What's one piece of advice or one skill that you would say they need to work on for young people in high school, like you and I were, to get to the level where you're at?
Yeah. I mean, really, I would just echo the words of some of my mentors, and
Mm,
that's just go out and do it. Get your hands dirty.
yeah.
Um, Without doing that and just doing the things that you're assigned in, whether it's a middle school, high school, or college classroom, you're not going to get the exact same feeling and experience, because especially if you're looking to set yourself apart,
Yep.
everybody has to do the assignment,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
But the people that are taking the time to then go, like what we were doing, we
Hmm.
went to Newslink, Indiana. So,
Yep.
while it may not be as fun as going to Mug Club at Brothers on a Tuesday night,
Yeah.
uh, being in the newsroom for, however long it is in the evening to run our newscasts,
Yeah.
that was, you know, invaluable experience for what I do now. And even when I was a sports anchor out in Oregon,
Yep.
um, being able to get those different experiences is incredibly important to the development that you're going to do as a young journalist, as a young storyteller,
Mm.
even if it isn't traditional uh, news media, the
Yeah.
storytelling that you're going to do, whether it's in marketing or public relations or journalism or whatever it is, communications wise, like storytelling
Yeah.
has been ingrained in the fabric of humanity
Yep.
since the dawn of time, since
Yeah.
humans
Yeah.
were able to communicate. And that's why I brought up from cave art to Instagram reels and
There you
everything in
go.
between.
Yeah.
Storytelling is and forever will be a part of human society. So
Yep.
being able to go out there and experience as much as you can
Yep.
is a really valuable part of becoming a good storyteller.
For sure.
Uh, and I, without going into details, it's opened up a lot of doors
Yep.
in my life and really cool opportunities that not a lot of other people get to have. And that's
Yeah.
through storytelling and through getting your hands dirty and going out there and making the mistakes early so
Yeah.
that you can learn from them and be that much further ahead.
For sure, for sure. And before we go, just talk about one of the experiences that came to the front of mind just now as we were talking is got the opportunity to travel to Korea while we were at Ball State. Can you talk about before we finish up the podcast here? Can you talk about your experience, what that experience meant, how you've been able, what that process was like, and um, how you've been able to use that now in your position?
Yeah, just the quick background on it was Ball State ran, or I don't know if they still run
Yep.
Ball State at the games,
Yep.
but it was originally a kind of go to where the Olympics are, tell culture stories around it.
Yep.
And 2018 was kind of a weird time. I mean, you could say that about just about any year that since I've been in high school, but
Yep.
there was some brinkmanship going on between or from specifically just from North Korea. And so I think there was a
Yep.
smaller number of journalists that were going to be traveling there. And Team
Yep.
USA reached out to one of the professors at Ball State, Ryan Sparrow,
Yep.
who ran the program
Yep.
and said, "Hey, we can do 5 full media credentials
Oh.
to the Olympics, pick your students." And I was lucky enough to be one of those students. And so we were fully credentialed
Oh, that's awesome.
uh, media professionals at the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got to have the full experience.
That's awesome.
We were in the media center with your NBC, Sky Sports of the world,
Yeah.
in the press conferences with Sean White when it's in this big auditorium.
Yeah.
And then even in the smaller ones, it was like me and some Minnesota reporters when the curling team came through. Uh,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
and and it was one of those kind of two parts. One, you get that full experience of what it's like, or maybe not the full experience. You get a taste of what it's like to be a journalist covering
Yep.
an international sporting event.
Yeah.
You're rubbing elbows with all of these incredible journalists,
Yeah.
the Bob Costases of the world.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of it too is, just experiencing a brand new culture and
Yeah.
everything. Korea is an awesome country. It was so cool. Uh, Me and everybody else that went were so impressed with everything we saw.
Yeah.
Pyeongchang is not a big city by any stretch, but it was just an incredible experience to really take in a brand new culture, which I had zero background on.
Yeah.
Um, and really just learned a lot about how much of a as much as you try to expand your bubble, it's still going to be a bubble.
Yep.
And the only way to expand that bubble is to go experience some new things. So from
Yep.
that perspective as well, it was a life-changing experience. And on the easy side of it too, it was really easy in job interviews when they were talking about, hey, what's a unique experience? And like, well, I got this one in the back pocket ready to
Yeah.
go.
There you go. Yeah.
Um, but that was it was really cool, and that kind of goes back to me bragging on Ball State. We were
Yeah.
the only college kids from a university, like sponsored-ish by a university there,
Yeah.
uh, and that was because of the way that Ball State kind of just went
Right.
out and did their own thing
Yep.
and got their hands dirty, and then
Yep.
that leads to some really cool
Opportunities
opportunities,
for
like
sure.
being able to bring 5 of your students to the Olympic Games as journalists, not as spectators, but as fully credentialed journalists.
That's awesome. No, it's like you said, you brought it full circle back to your advice there of
Yeah,
getting your hands dirty and see what it
right.
leads to. And it's awesome to see, where your career, where it's been, where it's gone, all the opportunities that you've gotten, and now being at the Tennessee Golf Association, everything you've done for them and that you will do and that you're doing. It's awesome to see that process. So but that's all the time we have for this episode of the Athlete Insights podcast. You can follow along with Josh's career, like I just said. I'll have your social media linked on the video and everything, so you can follow along with
Perfect.
Josh. You can follow my podcast on YouTube, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, pretty much anywhere you get podcast, you'll find this one. But Josh, once again, appreciate you taking the time, and we'll see you next time.